Hello, and welcome back to the EdgeVerse Techcast. This is your spot for everything NXP software tools and enablement. It's all designed for developers working on our processors and microcontrollers. I'm Kyle Dando, and as always, I'm joined by my partner in both tech talk and the occasional bad jokes. Bridgette, you want to kick us off?
Thanks, Kyle. Hi, everyone. I'm Bridgette Stone, your other co-host. Today, we're diving into a topic that quite literally matters. And yes, that pun is intentional. We're talking about Matter, the standard that's transforming how devices in our homes and buildings connect and work together.
Nicely done, Bridgette. That's sort of like a dad joke. And we're really lucky to have one of the best people to guide us through this conversation, and that's NXP's very own Sujata Neidig, who has been deeply involved in Matter since its early days. Sujata, welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm super excited to do that podcast and talk about something I'm very passionate about, Matter and smart home experiences.
Thanks, Sujata. Let's jump right into it. I know Matter's been around for about 5 years now, right? And that feels both recent and like a lifetime ago in tech years.
Absolutely correct. I can't believe it either. About 5 years since CSA, or the Connectivity Standards Alliance, started in a project that was called CHIP at the time, and then branded as Matter and announced in December of 2019.
Can you give us a quick refresher on how Matter started and where we are today? And here's a challenge. Can you explain what Matter really is in under a minute for our listeners?
Sure. Matter started as an effort to really figure out how to defragmentize the smart home technology. There were so many different connectivity protocols that were being used. And from an end user perspective, it meant they had to buy into one specific brand or ecosystem. Matter was about how do we bring unification into connectivity for the smart home. That's exactly what the CSA, or Connectivity Standards Alliance, and its members did. Matter is a unified connectivity protocol that is designed to enable smart home devices to work with each other across brands and ecosystems, making it simpler for users of smart home devices to be able to enjoy the experiences that the devices provide rather than being frustrated with setup and support issues.
That makes so much sense. I really like how you distilled it because honestly, most of us just want our devices to work without feeling like part-time IT administrators at home. The idea that my Apple TV, my Echo, my thermostat, and light bulbs can all just get along, that feels like a win for everyone.
Exactly.
All right, Sujata. Now let's talk about the standard itself. So as you said, Matter 1.0 launched a couple years ago, but the Connectivity Standard Alliance has been rolling out updates regularly. So what are some of the big priorities right now? What's being added or improved that the developers listening to our show, and really the consumers, should pay attention to?
Matter 1.0 was launched in late 2022. So we are almost 3 years into the Matter journey. And when it was launched as this is the starting point to provide this unified protocol that makes devices work with each other seamlessly. With that in mind, Matter continues to evolve with twice a year releases or updates to the Matter spec and SDK. The first several updates were really more about adding more device types. So expanding from your typical home control devices to things like appliances and how to do energy management. But then as part of the evolution of Matter is really strengthening its foundation and capabilities. With that in mind, with Connectivity Standards Alliance, the Matter efforts over this past year have really been prioritized on driving reliability, performance, and scalability. For example, the latest release, which was Matter 1.4.2, announced just a couple of months ago, had some key improvements in security capabilities, streamlining some of the certification testing, and optimizing the networking infrastructure with things like home routers and access points, just driving a better overall user experience by having more and tighter coordination across the ecosystems. And CSA is a standards organization driven by member companies. These member companies, as they have been adopting Matter and deploying Matter devices, have been providing their feedback and insights into how to continue to evolve Matter.
Excellent. I like how you frame that, Sujata. It's not just about always introducing new shiny features. It's about making sure that the foundation is rock solid, it's scalable, and that you're listening to the feedback of the people that are trying to use it. Sounds like the CSA and the Matter group are doing a great job. When we think about the millions of devices from hundreds of different brands, focusing on that reliability and security will really make or break this effort.
Yeah, Kyle, I'm going to just add one thing to that. Matter is about how to not only easily set up your device, but making sure that it's going to work for you down the road. So years from now, that device still operates in your smart home the way you need it to.
Excellent.
All right, let's shift gears to NXP. The word platform comes up a lot in this space, and it can mean different things depending on who you're talking to. Why is NXP uniquely set up to support Matter, and what does it actually mean for developers building on your platforms?
I really like the way you asked that because I agree, platform has so many different meanings. For NXP and the way that we are servicing our customers, we see Matter as a catalyst technology to really elevate and drive that adoption of smart home technology with end users beyond the IT geeks or the first followers and bringing it into more the middle market, the more average person. But making that change is not easy, especially for product makers. As a silicon and software company, we work with hundreds, if not thousands, of customers and take their products from idea to deployment. So companies that are addressing the smart home space and looking at how to adopt Matter really have to go back and rethink what is their strategy for their product portfolio and how do they build a platform that enables them to adopt Matter and drive revenue and differentiation. That's where we come in. We want to equip our customers with development platforms to enable them to bring their ideas to fruition. What that means is that we have various components and technologies. Although Matter could be seen as a connectivity standard, it really is about the application. At NXP, we provide the different components for that application. That means we have various options for processing. We have our Linux host-based i.MX application processor portfolio, as well as our powerful i.MX RT crossover MCUs and our MCX MCUs, as well as our standalone wireless MCUs that integrate connectivity along with the MCU. All of these are building blocks to put together what's needed for the end application. We also have products for all of the Matter-dependent protocols. Matter is really about the application, the language that devices speak, but how they connect with each other are through Wi-Fi, Thread, Ethernet, or bridging in Zigbee devices. At NXP, we provide all of those different connectivity technologies.
So it sounds like we provide one of the broadest offerings with respect to horsepower and connectivity. Very cool.
Yeah, what the market is looking at is how do they take their requirements and turn it into product strategies. Our objective is to simplify Matter product development by providing what I call the plumbing or the foundation of building their Matter devices. Therefore, they can then invest their resources in how to differentiate on the end user experience. They can really focus on innovation for their platforms or devices. We are also able to bring value to them in that phase of their product development and deployment strategy because to complement our Matter enablement, we also have other technologies that provide different types of capabilities with our MPU and MCU portfolio, but we also have UWB and NFC. This allows customers to take these technologies and integrate them to provide that differentiation. For example, using AI or ML in their solutions to bring more intelligence to the device, or using Bluetooth, NFC, or UWB for doing RF ranging and sensing that enables these person and ambient awareness type use cases, as well as being able to do voice at the edge and providing a more intuitive user interface to their end consumers.
That plumbing metaphor is so good because it's invisible, but absolutely essential. And it really highlights the value of NXP doing the heavy lifting so developers can focus on what makes their product unique instead of wrestling with the basics.
Okay, you two, now let's get a little bit more into the developer-centric topic. Supporting a standard like Matter isn't just a one and done effort. We've noticed over the years, it's constantly evolving. So how quickly does NXP update its support when the spec changes? And what's the most recent release developers should know about?
Yeah, so our most recent release on our platforms is to support Matter 1.4.0, and we're working on bringing Matter 1.4.1 within the next couple of months. That's for the software enablement, but we also continuously certify these platforms with CSA so that our customers know that the development we've put in place is capable of meeting the certification requirements from CSA.
Okay, so it's safe to say that our software team is fully engaged with the spec and working to have NXP cover all those latest changes. So that's great. Now the second question is sort of follow on. I've seen a lot of changes within the SDK side of things, our software development kit. Over the past year, I've seen a lot of activity around the MCU Expresso SDK in respects to Matter. Can you walk us through the improvements that were made and specifically what makes it easier now and more natural for developers to use with Matter?
Yes, this is really important. And as I said before, developing Matter devices or just connected devices is not a simple task. So we have been working to enhance the developer experience. And in our latest release, what we've done is we've enhanced the Matter integration with our MCU Expresso SDK by enabling a native CMake build process. What this means is it turns Matter into a middleware layer in a much more natural way. Rather than the previous dependency hierarchy where MCU Expresso SDK was added into the Matter project using the Matter build system. This change makes it much easier to access the full suite of our MCU Expresso SDK middleware when building a Matter project. This allows customers with the Matter project to add other things, other NXP solutions for things like graphics or voice or motor control, AI, ML, etc.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into our next question, which is VS Code. I know that's where a lot of these developers are living. That's where they're bringing Matter into their project. They're adding it to projects that include our graphics, voice, and motor control. Can you talk about our Matter integration into our VS Code extension? What does that mean for someone starting a new project or even maybe retrofitting an existing one?
Yes, this has been a really important effort for us. The VS Code extension has been updated to include support for the new Matter CMake build system that I just talked about. As I mentioned, it now adds Matter as another middleware option within a project. So this is added in the same way as other MCU Expresso SDK middleware. What that does is it eases the process of creating a new Matter project. Improvements were made in how the Matter code is cloned from GitHub and how the VS Code environment is set up. So technically, what it's doing is enhancing the activate script from the Matter project to streamline that initial setup. So first time Matter clone and project creation or build should be a lot faster than before. And in upcoming VS Code releases, we'll have additional improvements to ease the process of adding Matter middleware into an existing project or code base. For customers with a product that's already in production and now they want to add Matter support, they will be able to accelerate that development.
That's huge. Anyone who's ever tried to clone a repo and set up a build environment knows how painful it can be. Faster setup and easier integration are things developers will immediately appreciate. We will put the links in the episode notes to direct people to the SDK and VS Code improvements. Okay, Sujata, last question, and it's a fun one. You've been in the trenches with Matter from the beginning, so you've seen how far it's come. But looking ahead, what excites you the most? If you fast forward 2 years, what do you hope to look back on and smile about?
Love this question. And actually, I'm already smiling because of what Matter has already accomplished, bringing together all aspects of the smart home industry to create this unified protocol. We're talking brands and ecosystems that compete with each other, working together to provide this unified capability. So when I think about 2 years from now, I'll look back and smile, A, because I'll be enjoying all of my Matter and NXP based experiences in my autonomous home. And then B, because I think in that point, the question that always comes up now is how is adoption of Matter happening? And I think that is going to change to, okay, what's next in the smart home?
It's such a powerful image, not just asking what's Matter adoption like, but already moving on to what's next in the smart home. That's the kind of progress that keeps the industry exciting.
So Sujata, thank you so much for joining us. You've helped break down what Matter is, why it's important, and how NXP is uniquely positioned to support developers bringing it to life. NXP's Matter solutions span from those highest performing application processors in the IMX family, all the way to the low energy microcontrollers at the edge. Not too many suppliers can help developers across all of these requirements. NXP allows Matter developers to rely on one supplier for trusted innovation, performance, and support. They no longer need to juggle so many different suppliers. Listeners should look at all the Matter support that Sujata brought up. These recent changes will improve how they can create projects and how they can improve their development environment. There's just so much information about the NXP solutions for Matter. You know what would be a great idea, Sujata? Is if you had your own podcast or your own video series. Oh, wait. You do. It's called Conversations at the Edge. Sujata, what do you think? Should we let people know about your other resource for learning more about Matter?
Absolutely. I loved doing Conversations at the Edge, and the first season was all about Matter. So there's 3 episodes. So encourage the audience to check those out. And to you and Bridgette, thank you so much for having me on your podcast to talk about Matter. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for being here, Sujata. We learned a ton, and we'll make sure to put links for Conversations at the Edge in the episode notes.
And to all of our listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation, and how could you have not, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that you can learn about when our next episode drops. And take a few seconds to drop some feedback in the comments section. If you have any questions from the conversation that we just had on Matter, let us know what they are.
Yes, please do. We love getting your feedback. And until next time, keep innovating, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the EdgeVerse Techcast.